we are live for a repeat show, a makeup show of, I should call it the Echoes show, of Script and Musings with the fabulous Brandon Ellrich of Brandon Ellrich is So Gay. I'm Karen Marie Shelton, and I will be conducting a talk with Brandon for the next approximately an hour, unless we get done really fast. But, oh, hi, Jeannie. Thank you for joining us. We did this show on Thursday. It was actually Thursday. And for some reason, there was a lot of stuff happening in the universe. And, there was some shootings and who knows what happened. But
Yeah.
Substack had a terrible echo and we tried everything. We hung up and we came back and we could not get rid of the echo. But it seems like we're good today. So we're going to do it again. And hopefully Brandon will be as brilliant and fabulous as he was the last time. But I know you will be, because you always are. You're one of my favorites. You know that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm fabulous or not, but
Oh, you are fabulous. We know it. We know it. We know it. So, do you want to give a little intro about who you are? Or do you think that, your superstar status already precedes you?
well, no, there are a lot of people on Substack, and I'm sure there are quite a few people that don't know anything about me. So I am Brandon Ellrich, and my main publication is Brandon Ellrich is So Gay. I do have another publication called the Gay Pussy Lover, Pussy Cat Lover, just in case nobody knows that. But I only publish on there like, I don't know, at most like once a week. But I do post a lot of pictures of my cats on notes and stuff. So if people really enjoy the cat stuff, they can go to that publication. But yeah, I write a couple articles a week. I do a live cooking video once a week. I'm on live videos with Wendy the Druid. We do trauma talk on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm on throughout the week on different lives that she does. So
you've been on the porch, right? Have you gone onto the porch?
Yeah, I've been on with Lisa on her porch talk before.
And you and I have done a couple things together. In fact, I'm going to claim that one of the very first lives you did, which is when we talked about your cats, we talked about Zach and Zoe, although Zoe was out meandering around in the garden, but Zach was there with you. That was one of the first. And I want to say hello to Christy Thomas for joining us today. And we've known each other from Medium through a couple of my personalities. I've been your editor off and on now for a couple of years for one of those publications.
Right.
Now, how do I say that?
Tecalote.
Okay. Hello. How are you? Yes, I'm so glad to see you. And Allie has joined us. Anyway, you write a lot of humor on Medium. Would you say that you write mostly humorous pieces?
Well, when I was on Medium, it was, at least when I started out there, I wrote a lot of, I was kind of in a group of writers who did a lot of writing prompts, and we just kind of, we supported each other, and they had a list of writing prompts during the month, and so it was a lot of that. And then I published in a cat publication and LGBTQ plus publication. It was kind of very eclectic, at least my writing was, just all kinds of different things. But it did kind of transform more into the humor as I went along. I hadn't intended writing humor when I first got on Medium. I'm going all over the place here. Sorry.
That's okay.
But I started on WordPress, and I was writing poetry and fiction, basically, mostly.
And then when you were like 10? Weren't you like 10 when you started in WordPress?
No, that was in 2000. I think I started it in 2020, actually. So it wasn't that long ago, really.
Yeah.
But then I went to Medium, and I just tried to write the same thing, but it didn't seem like Medium really liked the fiction stuff as much. I did publish some poetry, and that did okay, but they paid by reading time, and poems were very short, and it didn't really didn't really do much. So then I had to kind of change gears and went with the writing prompts. And people started saying my writing was funny. And so I was like, okay, well, if people like that, I guess I'll work with that, you know? So I wrote more humor, and then, I got several articles boosted in the queer space base mostly. I got a humor article boosted too, but then of course Medium changed a lot of things, and I went to Substack, and now that I'm on Substack, it's mainly satire and humor, although I write some stuff about the queer community and issues affecting us. So,
Yes. Well, a lot of your humor, and by the way, I want to say hello to Beth. Really happy to see you. And Joe is here. And I think I forgot somebody that I just
Maria?
Maria, yes. I want to say hi to everybody who's joining us. Yeah, I know that. In fact, I like to write humor, but we talked about this since we're repeating. I actually wrote one recently that Robin Wilding, who I'm not supposed to gush over, but you know very well, she's one of your in your writing group on Medium and on Substack. I
Yes.
think you've worked with her. I'm not allowed to gush over her, but she and I edit each other's stuff sometimes, and we run ideas past each other. But I wrote a funny piece. It was called "The Facebook Marketplace is a social experiment run by meth heads," and that piece she gave me like her chef's kiss for funny, which is good because if she thinks it's funny, then I feel good about it. And we talked about the fact it's really hard to write humor. And you mentioned, I'm going to quote you. You said, well, it's really hard to write humor because you think it's funny, but
Mhm.
everybody else is like, is he a crackhead? I mean, what is his problem? So it's really hard to find that balance. But you seem to do a really good job of that. And I often laugh very hard at your stuff. And I really enjoy your cooking. And we talked about this other thing we talked about. You did a peach honey. Was it a peach honey scrub?
Peach sugar scrub.
Peach sugar scrub. And you
Yeah.
did it was a do it yourself and you did it alive. That was really great. And you made chocolate waffles. Was that one of the things?
Yes. Chocolate
And
waffle.
and what did you make recently? Oh, you made some kind of apple dish. Was it a dessert?
Yeah, I've done peach butter and the peach sugar scrub. That was when peaches were in season, of course. And then now the apples are in season. I've been picking apples off the tree, and I did some apple cookies last week or whenever. Yeah, I think it was last week. And then today I posted a video of me doing the apple mystery desserts.
Ooh.
Yeah, I recorded that yesterday and I posted that video today with the recipe and picture.
I wanted to mention as you're on your path to stardom, and hello, Lou, thank you for joining. For the social media that my husband and I own, our channel is called Sazio.com. Small little, little plug there. We actually just hired a social media person she's a marketing person who's going to be handling all our social media for Sazio.com. And she's really big on Pinterest. And she said to me,
Mm.
anybody that's on Sazio that does recipes or cooking or anything like that, let me know, point me to them, and I will promote them. If they post on Sazio, I will promote them on our other channels because she's got, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that have followed her pins for years. She's been on Pinterest since almost the beginning. And now she does social media, marketing and things like that. And she was bugging me because I have a really good cheesecake recipe. And I was saying, oh, there's this guy, Brandon, and he's really good at baking. And I want to do a cheesecake recipe with him. And she's like, oh my God, well, if you do a cheesecake recipe, take lots of pictures and post them on Substack and Sazio and Medium, and then we'll just pin the heck out of him. And he'll become a super chef star. So we'll make you a star in the chef world. In fact, last night I was making sloppy joes because they're quick, they're easy, they're very
Yeah.
inexpensive. and they're delicious. They're fresh, and they take about 10 minutes. And so she was texting me the whole time, "Take a picture. Take it from the right angle. Lay on the floor and take it from." I'm like, "Oh my
Oh
god,
gosh.
it's just sloppy joes." But she's really great at what she does, and you'll see her stuff. It's already posted. Some of her stuff's posted on Sazia. She's really artistic and she's just great. You'll really like her. Her name's CJ. So I was telling her about you, and I said, he's got the making of a celebrity chef. So we need to get behind that and just push him out there, and then maybe he'll say he knew us when. We can't
Oh
still
yeah.
say we knew you when. But I need you guys.
I won't forget you.
Okay, well, you better not, or I'll hunt you down and kill you. Anyway, we were supposed to ask a lot of questions. This will be posted on the collective as long as there's no echoes and stuff. And these are questions about writing and being creative, and you are featured in the collective every day that you do new content. If you don't do any new content, you're not featured. But if you are in the collective. So if anybody on here doesn't know about the collective, it's a really wonderful publication that was started by Sarah and Wendy the Druid. I don't know who started it first, but they do a publication, and the whole purpose behind it is to promote the writers and the creators that are in their space, that are in their group, that are, a part of who they are. And there's some incredible writers in there. You're in there, and Walter and Wendy the Druid, and Sarah is posting some amazing things. And so this is sort of an offshoot to promote the writers who are writing for the collective. And that's why we're going to be asking questions about writing today, which brings me to the first question. What the hell are you currently writing?
Well, I right now in my draft folder, I'm finishing up an article about being hired by an AI bot.
What?
Yes. I applied for it. This is true. I applied for a job and I was interviewed by an AI bot, an LLM,
Oh.
and responded to their questions and everything. And they followed up, commented on my answers, and followed up with questions that sounded very human like. And so I decided to write about that. Actually, Robin, the other day we were talking, and I said something, I mentioned something about it. And she's like, "You need to write an article about that." Like, I had thought about it. Yeah, yeah, I had thought about it a while back, but I just I don't know, if I don't write something down or get it started right away, it just goes out of my brain. I just completely forget about it. But so that one's in the work. That should be, if I can get it done, it should be published tomorrow. But that's the one I'm working on currently, at least.
And why does it matter to you? Because it's original and funny, or why does it matter to you?
The article,
Yeah.
um, partly because it's taken from real life experience. For one thing, I mean, it is partly true, but I'm adding a lot of satire to it, which I always do. I just a regular story is can be kind of boring. You know, Went to the grocery store and got stuff and came home, or whatever. But a humor writer should be able to throw in, their little own brand of humor and satire and make it more interesting. So this is an experience. Okay, I was interviewed by an AI bot. The end.
Did you get
That's
hired?
not interesting.
Did you get
Yeah,
hired? You
yeah.
did? Are you working for the company?
Yeah, I do freelance writing on the side because Substack, so far I can't earn a living off of just paid subscribers on Substack yet. Hopefully I'm going to get to that point. But I still need to do stuff outside of Substack to earn a living. So one of the things I do is freelance writing. And with this company, I can set my own hours, and I can work as little as much as I need to. And but anyway, that's one of the companies that I'm doing the freelance work for.
Yeah, and I guess you don't have to worry about inner office romance if you're working with a lot of bots, right?
Well, I mean, I guess unless you fall in love with one of the bots, I mean, there may be some of that in the article that I put out
Oh, I don't
tomorrow.
want to spoil it. Okay, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so the next question, and I'm mixing them up so you're not prepared.
Oh, yeah.
What topics make you lose sleep, but in a good way, that you're thinking about writing and you're thinking about it and you lose sleep over it, but what keeps pulling you back in where you say, "Okay, I just have to finish this. I have to write it."
Um, I don't really feel like I lose much sleep over articles. I mean, like when I have an idea and I put it down, it's like it's out there. So I don't really need to think about it much until I come back and look at that draft again. If I think of something in the night or like laying in bed or whatever, I try to remember to get up and make a note in my phone or something because like I said earlier, if I don't write something down, it kind of, you know, walks out of my ears or wherever and falls off the pillow or something. But I I like to write it down just even if I start a draft in just a few words or just like a vague title, just something to remind me like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write about that, so I do think about like some uh subjects, topics that affect the LGBTQ plus community, and sometimes I think maybe I should write more about that, but I I'm not a news writer, you know and there are people that cover the news and cover current events and stuff, but a lot of times I come to Substack to consume the news. There are great writers on here, great reporters and journalists that get the information and present it. And so I don't like to watch the news on TV and stuff because it's just too much. But I come here and I like to hear it from people that I'm familiar with. And
Who are your
anyway,
top
that's kind
3?
of
Who are the top
um
3 that you like news to hear you hear news from?
um I often watch the Daily Whatever, and they usually come up with topics, current events, and things. Um,
And don't you write for their publication?
yeah, I am a writer for their publication. I've only published one article in there so far because a lot of my stuff isn't specifically geared toward Gen X, which is what their publication is, so Gen Xy. So I don't always it doesn't always fit. So, but if I were to write another one that kind of geared toward that, then I'd probably say, hey, you want me to put this one in the pub? But yeah, anyway, I feel like I'm not a journalist and I'm not a news reporter. That's not my role. I want to write stuff that's more lighthearted and satirical and
Well, you do a good
has
job.
more entertainment.
I
Well,
almost
thank you.
you almost always get a couple out loud laughs. And when I laugh out loud, that's, 5 stars. But the thing about the collective, I wanna, plug them a little bit.
Right.
They are looking for an ecosystem of different voices. Oh, Julie Elder's here. Hi, Julie. I love her.
Hello, Julie.
Yeah, I love
Well,
her.
that's another one, by the way. I just want to interrupt a little bit, but I watch Wendy the Druid a lot, and she's very knowledgeable about
Oh, yeah.
current events and the news and politics and everything. And of course, I watch her program all the time, and I'm on it quite a bit. But a lot of times, I don't have a lot to input sometimes, but I like to hear what other people in the collective are talking about and reporting about.
Yeah. I do it's Sarah's the editor in chief of the collective, but I help her. And if she's busy and can't get to it, I might do some of it. And I do the cross posting. So I read every single thing that comes in. There's about 25 writers in the collective. There's 20 main ones, and then there's others that kind of move in and out because not everybody publishes every day. And it's so
Yeah.
great. Because, and I'll sit there, even though I'm doing the posting of the stories into the publication, I'll read all of them. And sometimes I'll even cross post it not just to the collective, but to my own pub, which is two sides to every story because it'll be so good. And like, for example, I just love, and sometimes I'll get caught up because I'll be on the back porch. I pop into the back porch because I want to see what they're talking about. And then I don't want to leave. I'm like, oh, I have to be working. I need to stop watching this. And, there's so many great writers on the collective, great voices, and there's a lot of great voices on, the other pub that you mentioned as well. But like you said, it's more focused on Gen X whereas the collective is, if I had to classify it, maybe you would have an opinion. I would say it's human rights and just r- people rights. There's so many good things on there. You're right.
Diversity.
Diversity. I really like that. You get a lot of different voices, a lot of different opinions. I really, really like that. Okay, so if you could dump all the boring rules of writing, what wild and crazy direction would your stories take? Give us a little taste of that.
Well, one thing I mentioned the other day was I would get rid of capital letters. I mean, hitting that shift, it's annoying. Hitting the shift button, because you have to hit the shift button with your left hand if you want to capitalize the W, and then you switch and have to hit the left shift button to hit the capital I. It's just all that switching back and forth. Just get rid of capital letters. I mean, you can still have the punctuation, have a period, and then start a new sentence. You don't need to capitalize the first part of the sentence, do you? I mean, you see the period. There's a new sentence coming. We don't need to capitalize it.
Right. But I suggested getting rid of the quotes because I hate putting in the quotes, and you said no because then nobody would know who was talking.
That's right. That's right. And the quotes require the shift button.
Oh, right.
I'm getting rid of the shift button. I don't want the shift. That's the reason I don't like the capital letters. So we're gonna have to. I mean, we can do that, but there's got to be a special button for it.
Yeah.
Where special key where quote end quote.
Yes.
That'd be fine. That'd be great.
What about exclamation points? Blah, blah, exclamation.
Oh, that one's even worse. That one's even worse because that's on the one up there. The numbers all have those different keys. In typing class, our typing teacher is like, we're not going to worry so much about the numbers up there because you can look and peck at those. But yeah, that's the numbers. I can't ever remember the position of, like, if I hit the at button, I have to look at the keyboard.
Oh yeah. Well, what was it? Side note: you've also been featured on Peter William Murphy's show. I think you've been on there more than once, right?
I have been. Well, I was a guest on there the first time, and then I was a captive the second time. He had trouble coming up with a guest, and so he tied me up in the basement and forced me to be a guest on his show. I had no choice in the matter.
I had to start doing therapy recently because a long time ago when he started doing his show, he asked me if I wanted to be on the show. And of course I was thrilled because, it's so crazy and loony and that's who I am. I'm a really crazy person. And he said, okay, I'll put you on the list. And then he never called me. And so after this happened, I kept seeing all these people coming and he'd say, you're on the list, you're on the list. And then I'd never hear from him. Kind of like the checks in the mail. And so I had to start going to a therapist because I started having these anxiety attacks. It got to the point on Mondays, I was having such anxiety attacks and I would go, he said I'm on the list. He said I'm on the list. And you know what? I actually paid to sponsor somebody recently and I would have sponsored him, but he didn't ever have me come on the show. I had to use the money that I was going to use to pay to sponsor them for the therapist because I had to go and have deep therapy over the fact that I was, and he keeps telling me, you're on the list, you're on the list. But I want to go back to something else. You were talking about Saturday Night Live with the cats that type. Please talk about that again. That was so hysterical. The Saturday Night
Live. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I think you had mentioned, well, you could get your cats to dictate for you. And there used to be a skit years ago on Saturday Night Live called Toonces the Driving Cat. I know at least in one episode, Toonces was typing and his little paws, all you could see was, his head sitting there and his little paws were going up and down on the typewriter. Uh, but my cat has typed on my article before. I was writing a cat article actually, and he got up on the desk and walked across my keyboard and, had a bunch of letters across there. And I kept it in the article because it was a cat article. And I was like, well, actually, it's funny we're talking about the cats because he's just typed this into my article, which is like FFGG, just a bunch of random letters. But anyway, yeah, he's very helpful in
Yes.
some
Well,
ways.
he has a foot fetish too, right?
Oh yes, yes. He lays on my feet. He likes to sleep on my shoes. He'll take my sock. My socks will be on the floor, and he'll flop down on the floor and use his paws and take the sock and rub it on his head like this.
Oh my
I don't know what his deal is. I have heard that he's not the only cat that does that. There are other
Okay.
cats that
Well,
seem
we'll
to
give
have
him a
that kind
pass.
of foot fetish.
We'll
Yeah.
give him a tap
Uh,
pass. And
Zoe doesn't do it though.
no, Zoe's she's a very healthy, well-adjusted cat, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Definitely more than he is.
Yes. And we were joined by bathtub guy. Hey, Robes, it's good to see you. So where'd you go? Oh my gosh. So cute. Oh,
Yes.
adorable.
She likes to hang out. Both of them kind of like to hang out wherever I am. Even if
Oh,
they're
that's so
asleep,
sweet.
they just like to be in the same room.
That's so sweet. What's the biggest creative roadblock you've hit lately, and how the heck did you smash through it? Which you just mentioned that Peter William Murphy tied you up somewhere and held you hostage to be on his
Hmm.
show. So
Hmm.
was that your biggest roadblock?
No, he didn't tie the strings all that well. I was able to get out. But um I one of the, one I mean, this is common for a lot of writers, I think, writer's block, And I do experience it sometimes. I just, especially with humor writing, sometimes you just can't think of something that is really funny that other people will think is funny. I mean, I may think it's funny, but so I one way that I prevent that from happening is have a bunch of different drafts going at once. I'll start one thing, have an idea, and put it down, and I may not complete it, but I've got it started. Leave that draft alone. I have another idea. Go to another draft and open that up, and just type a little bit of just an idea where I can build off of it later. And so I'll have several drafts going, and then so if I go back to one draft and I want to try to finish it and I come to a block, I'll think, ugh, I don't know where else to go with this. And it's only like a couple paragraphs long. It's not long enough. I don't know where else to go. Just leave that article alone. Go to the next article, your next draft. It's a completely different story. It's a different perspective. You've got your mind in a different place. When you see something else, like even though you were blocked on one article, this new subject could open something up where you're like, oh, yeah, I can continue on this one. And when you get blocked on that one, if you get blocked on that one, you go to the next one. I
Sounds perfect.
I usually have at least two drafts of different ideas going, but um yeah, I would prefer to have a bunch of them going so I have stuff to schedule out. I'm not a last minute kind of person. I do not like deadlines. So I like to have things scheduled out and just to make me feel better. It's like, all right, I don't have
Mm.
to worry about anything for the next week because I've already got my articles scheduled.
Well,
But
that's a really good thing.
yeah, it doesn't always happen.
I don't know how to pronounce this, so I apologize in advance. Is it Wat Yalen or Wadi Allen? I don't know. I'm sorry. But he said that your story was hilarious and he hatched some farm eggs and was on a live call with four ducklings running around my workspace and they trampled my
Oh,
keyboard and someone responded. Yes, that's very funny. That's I think that's even better than your cat story, right? Or the Saturday Night Live cats, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty
I've
good.
definitely never had any foul typing on my keyboard before.
Yes.
That
Well,
would be a first. Well, if I did have any of those in my house, they would not survive because Zoe
oh
is
yeah,
a
you have.
killer.
Yes, yeah, you have a killer cat. Well, and plus the
Yeah.
fact that ducklings they tend to emit body fluids when they run around, so that would be
Yeah.
not so
Yeah.
good either. Yeah. Um, who or what inspires you so badly that you can't stop talking about it? I can't gush about Robin, but if she inspires you, feel free. Or if there's somebody else, like there's so many people on on Wendy the Druid's, lives and the collective people and, Julie and Miranda, all those people. Is there somebody that really stands out to
Ugh.
you that really inspires you?
I mean, there are a lot of people, but on Medium, Medium and Substack, Robin Wilding, um, she and I started the Medium Partner Program in the same month back in however many few years ago, whenever it
Mhm.
was. But I was not as confident in my abilities, and I she was a lot better at marketing and stuff, and so she took off, you know, way beyond what I was doing. But Claire Frankie was another one. I love Claire Frankie's work. I think she's hilarious. And
She
actually, I
is.
tried to get her. She's on Substack, but she's not writing on here. But I was like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe. So she wrote an article on Medium, and I thought it was really funny. I was like, oh, I've got it. So I had an idea for an article of my own, kind of a response to hers. And I messaged her and asked her if she'd want to collaborate and everything. She she wasn't writing on Substack, but she said, feel free. She said, I love your writing and you can feel free to use anything from my article. That's fine. We messaged back and forth and stuff. And so it was really nice of her that she enjoyed my article and stuff and she restacked it for me and everything. But Robin Wilding, I mean, she told me years ago. She may not remember this, but she said at one time she's like, "You could be funnier than me if you really worked at it." So she really liked my stuff too, and I think she was just being nice, but
No,
you know,
Robin tells it like it is. She really, really does. That's why if I write something funny and she sends me a message or she leaves a response, "Oh my god, this is hilarious." I feel like, "Wow, I really accomplished something," because she works really hard at humor, and it's really hard. There's so many pieces I've written that are meant to be funny or satire, and I never publish them because I just don't think they're very funny, It's very hard to
hmm
write really good humor, and that's why when I saw your stuff, I saw you on Bouncing and Behaving blogs, and I
yeah.
encouraged you to try writing on the sister pub they have, which is called Bouncing and Behaving Fuckery. Unfortunately, they don't get a lot of traffic, but I thought you were perfect on there. You did some really good pieces, and I love the rebuttal you did. You did a rebuttal piece, to Kelly Carmichael. That was really good.
I need to look back and see what that was. I can't remember. A lot of times when I write an article, it's out of my head and I kind of forget about it.
Yeah, me too.
But
I can't remember after I hit publish, it's over. I don't even remember what I wrote, you know? I was watching a true crime story the other day on 2020 or something, and I'm going because sometimes I write true crime, although I don't know, but when I'm nuts. So I'm going, "That story sounds familiar. I think I wrote it somewhere, but I don't know where," because I write true crime on Quora, and I've written true crime on Medium, and I've done a little bit of true crime on Substack, and it took me about an hour to figure it out that I had indeed written that story about 3 years ago, and they're just now
oh
answering
yeah.
the case and everything, so
Well, Peter William Murphy says he loves Kelly. Peter, you should have Kelly on your show sometime.
yeah,
That would
you
be cool.
should. She's so sweet. She's
Yeah.
just a sweetheart. She really, really is a sweetheart. I mean, Brandon knows her very well, don't you, Brandon?
Oh yeah, she was very supportive of me on Medium, and she would always leave comments on my stories and stuff. It
And
was
she
it was
published
very
your stuff
nice.
very quickly, didn't she, when you would
Oh
submit?
yes,
'Cause
yes, she was a
she's the editor-in-chief of, Bouncing and Behaving, and she has been now for a year since Jason kinda migrated over to, I shouldn't say Jason, I should say the Mouthy Renegade, but,
yeah. I've heard him use his
you know
first name too, though, so I think he's all
yeah.
right.
But yeah, I'm his dog's aunt, Auntie Karen. Did you know that?
Oh, yes, yes. I've heard
That
that.
she's
Yes.
yes, yes. Okay. So, if you had to pick one line, here's this crazy question. If you had to pick one
Oh,
line from any of your work, you've had time to think about it.
you know, that was the stupid thing is I should have thought about these. Oh, whoops. I should have thought about these more and like looked some stuff up and be like, have an answer ready. But you know, I'm not always that smart. But okay, one line. Yes, I'm sorry. I kind of interrupted you there. One line from my stories that
really resonated with you. Like it's so good. You wrote a line that's so good that you want it on your tombstone. Or, it
oh
would be
well.
so good. It's like a William Shakespeare, one of his quotes. It would be a Brandon Shakespeare or a Brandon Shakespeare, Ellrich is so gay quote.
Well, um well, that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like when I put out a story, I don't always remember it. I'll sometimes go back and read them. And well, some of the ones that I've published on Substack are at least versions of ones I've done on Medium, but I adapt them. You know, I change them around a little bit because I don't want to just copy and paste the same thing.
Oh, and that can
But
get you in trouble with Google, by the way. Google does not like that. If you write a
yeah,
story on one platform and you just cut and paste it, very bad. Google will be mad at you.
yeah.
I don't think everybody knows that. You need to at least change the title, subtitle, the picture, and then maybe write it a little bit differently. I mean, you don't have to start from scratch, which is painful, but you just need to. They don't want to think that, you're just copy and pasting onto multiple platforms because that's a big no-no with them.
Yeah, well, I know they'll at least kind of ignore the second one. They'll search for the first one you published and they won't even, you know, people, don't even look at the second one. But anyway, but there's some lines like I wrote one about the equality. I took a trip to well, it was among my pride tour that I did this summer. And I took a trip to Topeka, Kansas and visited.
I watched you on that.
Yes, yes. I went to the Equality House, which was right across from the Westboro Baptist Church, and I toward the end of that I wrote an article about my trip there and about the Equality House and what it means and everything. And toward the end of the article, I was saying that the founder of the Westboro Baptist Church, Fred Phelps, had died, and I said I wonder if he uttered something about the Quality House will only be built over his dead body. And I said, well, it looks like God truly does answer prayers. So it was kind of a funny, kind of dark humor kind of line. But anyway,
Yes, that's very good. Okay, so we already talked about what you do. Oh no, no, this is a really revealing answer. Revealing answer. I asked you what you did when you weren't writing. Besides writing, what kinds of
mm,
things do you love did you in your life? And you tell me some things that shocked me. So go ahead and tell me what you do in your life. Yes, I mean, okay, you said you love pickleball. I just
I
couldn't
love
visualize you
pickleball.
playing pickleball.
Victor, I love pickleball. It is a sport. You can run around, you sprint back and forth. Yeah, I know. Some old people can play it, and if they just sit and, you can hit the ball, just dink, dink, dink. Yeah, you can do it that way, but you don't have to. You can actually be competitive at it. You can run and smack the ball and try to get it over the guy's head, and they have to run back and hit it. So it is a sport that can be um, a good exercise. Anyway,
Okay. And you like
pickleball.
pickles, right? You do like pickles, right?
Actually, I'm
I
not
know
a
you hate
huge fan
olives,
of
right?
pickles.
You
I
hate
oh
olives.
ugh. No,
Yeah, but what
no
about
olive.
pickles? You don't like pickles?
They're okay.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I
Well,
could take them or leave them.
Is it Victor that doesn't like pickles?
That's right. Yeah, he's in the chat. That's why I'm talking about this
Oh, I know. I've had a lovely
pickleball.
conversation with Victor. He's wonderful. He's also been on the Peter William Murphy show with you and with Robin. So
Oh
I'm
yeah, yeah.
wondering,
I was brought on just last week with Victor and um, Peter,
Peter William
and
Murphy.
he tried to Matt Damon me. He brought me on and said, "Oh, that's all the time we have," and wouldn't even let me talk. But no, he did keep me on for a little while longer.
You are aware of the fact that Victor's been on the show twice at least, and you've been on the show twice at least. But but he did
Yeah,
say
see,
that I might have a shot of being on April 1st. So we'll see. We'll see if I get on April
April
1st.
1st. I know
Yeah.
what's going to happen then.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Okay. So you like to play pickleball and you like to play tennis. You didn't
Yes,
menace that, but tennis and pickleball are similar. And you like to bake.
they
We
are
know that you
similar.
sometimes you bake nude, but you don't advertise
I
it. You wear
mean,
that little apron, right? You
I
wear
have
the
an apron
apron
on. Yeah, yeah. You
to
can't say I'm nude because
camouflage
I've got an
your
apron
nudity.
on,
Yeah. 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 And so what else is
and
it that you do?
I
You
like
feed your
gardening.
cats. What?
Oh, I play and my cats. I like gardening. I have flower
Oh, yeah. I forgot
garden.
about the gardening. Yes.
I like movies. I like going to the movies and watching TV shows. And
You make
um,
cookies. You make homemade cookies.
I do. I love making cheesecakes. Actually, I can make a cheesecake without a recipe. I just come up with my own, and it
Wow.
works.
Wow, that sounds amazing. That's really good. So
Oh,
pickleball, wow, you're
I
just
kind of
a
like it.
multifaceted person,
Victor
and
says I'll be releasing a nude baking calendar in 2026. Oh,
oh, are you going to be on there?
well, I guess we'll see. I need to work out some before then, though.
Oh, okay. What
Yeah,
is it? How am I going to pronounce his name? Is it Watt Yalen or is it Waddy Allen? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'll just call you WA. He
what are
said,
you?
yeah,
What?
he did a
What?
3-month investigation into X. Don't promote your Substack and post external links to X or YouTube, you get shut down. Full report on my Substack. One should read to serve. Okay. Yeah, that's really good to know. I was one of the early adopters. We were talking about the early adopters on my social media platform that my husband and I have been working on for 3 years that went live a week ago. Yay. And one of the things that I said to him was, I was one of the first people on X when it was called Twitter. In fact, I
Mm-hmm.
had to bribe them to reactivate my account because I lost my password and they didn't have a reset code. So I couldn't get back in. And I sent them this huge gift basket with cookies in it. And, it worked because 2 days later, they reactivated my Twitter account. They never talked to me, but I got back in. That's a true story.
Wow.
Yeah, I still have 100,000 followers there, even though I don't go much. I don't hardly ever go there anymore, but I did in the early
I
days.
don't
So
either.
I was an early adopter. Just imagine if I'd kept up with it. And I was also an early adopter on Instagram, like the first year I was on Instagram. So I'm an early adopter on Sayzio.com. Yay. But I wish I had been an early adopter on Facebook or Medium, or can you imagine the early people on Substack? Holy
Yeah.
cow. They all
Yeah.
have homes by the beach now. But yeah, that's really good information. Thank you. I'm going to call you WA unless you send me a message and tell me how to say your name right. Let's see. Victor says that pickleballers are the enemy. Oh, Dottie. Hi. Dottie joined us. We need unity in this country, Victor says, and it can only be attained through exiting pickleball
No. No.
fans.
No. I read that. I chose to ignore it. No.
Okay. And WA said he has to dash. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it very, very much. Joe's still with us. The what is it? Pepperoncinis. Do you know what that is?
What?
Some kind
Pepper?
of
Yeah.
pepper. Joe
Oh,
mentioned it.
pepper. Pepperoncinis.
Yes, it's not
Pepperon.
beta, Victor. It's live now. We are live at the theater. Yes, you can just pop in there and go. We used to have an invitation code, but we went live and we're still finding some bugs, but there's been a lot of people pouring on lately. And the more people that come on, the more bugs you find. So, but Victor, you're welcome to come in. We do have, what do you call those invitation codes that everybody gets and they can give to their friends. And if they bring in friends, they get rewards. So, but we've been working on it now for about 3 years. But this is your show. I don't want to talk about that. But
Oh
hopefully,
well, I'm on there
hopefully,
too. I did post an original article on there. I don't remember what it was about now, but and I came up with a publication. Do you call them publications? I can't remember.
we call them zones. We don't want to copy anybody.
Okay,
Medium
right,
has the
right.
publications, and Medium has publications. Um, Quora has spaces. We have zones. Substack
Yeah,
has newsletters. It's the basic thing. We also have spaces, which is a cross between a Substack note. They're called
yeah,
musings. They're called musings. You can use
right.
it
I
as
remember that one.
a short note, or you can do it as like what you do on X as a tweet. We don't have video yet, but we're working on it. We're going to have it soon. But we don't want to, let everything out all at once, because then we'll both probably go nuts because we won't be able to deal with all the issues we have to deal with. But yeah, this is our fifth company. So we're not newbies at this. And the first internet company I started is 30 years old, and it's still online. And all the people that put stuff on there 30 years ago, their stuff is still there. They still have all their emails. They're still there. It's like a virtual closet that you can
Yeah.
store all your stuff. But anyway, let's see, more things. How did you get into writing? You talked about going to WordPress, and
Yeah.
you said it was about 5 years ago. And why did you do that in the first place? What got you into writing? I know you told me a story in our previous show.
Yeah. When I was younger, of course, I mean, I think a lot of writers start when they're in school and they enjoy, making up stories and poetry and stuff like that. And my eighth grade teacher really encouraged me, and, you know, she said my writing was good. And then I had a high school teacher that also kind of said the same thing. She thought my fictional story that I wrote was really good, and my poetry. And then in college, I I switched around majors, but I was an English major for a while, and my literature teacher, uh, I gave her a book that I wrote to read that I hadn't published yet, and she read it and she said, "You need to find a publisher for this and have it published." So that really encouraged me. Teachers are a great encouragement, I think, for a lot of things. But for me, as a writer, it was very encouraging because I've always kind of had like low self esteem, low self worth. Didn't think I was
Mhm.
really good at much, So it did really help when I got outside encouragement about things. So yeah, eventually, I don't know. I just got to the point where I thought, I need to put my writing out there and try to get an audience. And um, so I went on WordPress, and that's when I started writing my poetry and fiction, and it was very popular there. Of course, like I said, in Medium, that it didn't have the same popularity there, and I had to pivot and change things around. But either way, I feel like I had like 15 boosts on Medium.
That's a
And
lot. That's very impressive.
well, I feel that I mean, thanks. But I feel like, that kind of shows me, that's kind of validation. It's like, um, it's not just me. I'm not just thinking, okay, this is good. Somebody else thinks it's somebody in the professional writing world thinks it's good, and wants to put it out there and boost it, and that was really helpful. And then I've gotten the great feedback on here. I've gained paid subscribers people who actually want to support me. And
You
so
need to put your
that's,
link in. You need to put your link in. Aren't you at a
oh,
turning point for a number of paid subscribers? Aren't you close to passing a milestone on that?
I have, yeah, actually, I think I have 19 paid subscribers right now, actually.
You need one more to hit the big 20.
Yeah, I know. I want to get I mean, my goal is to get at least 100, but let's start with 20 and go from there.
Right. Do you ever get any negative feedback or criticism, and how do you deal with it?
I very rarely do. Medium, I got a little bit. Um, but yeah, well, I'm not gonna. There was an editor that anyway. I'm not gonna go into names or anything like that. But I did. There was some negativity on Medium, but
Well, not for
Substack.
me, right? Not for
Oh
me.
no, 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 no. But there was an editor of a publication, and I ended up um, taking all my writing out of that publication. And anyway, but he
I'm
was just
sorry.
not professional at all.
No, I'm sorry. You're so good. I'm so proud of you. I want you to know that. I've been
Well,
watching you
thank
now
you.
for a couple of years. It's been about 3 years because, between my
Yeah,
different personalities, I've edited your work for about 3 years now, and you've improved dramatically. Not that you were bad to start, you were great, and I love, I pop into your lives anytime that I can. With Wendy, the Druid, I love your talks with her a couple times.
yeah,
Melissa's there. Those are amazing. I love Wendy. And of course, I've seen you on some of the other lives that you've done with the Daily Whatever and Peter, which I can't
yeah.
watch anymore. It makes me cry. I used to come to his Monday show every Monday, but I just cry. And my therapist said, "Well, you can't deal with the rejection, so just don't go to the show. You just can't
just
go
just don't
because
watch it.
no, it's too heartbreaking." So what do you want people to know about your daily writing? The writing, the hamster wheel, the writer's hamster wheel, blah, that you're on,
Well, one
that
thing,
people
I
don't
mean,
maybe understand.
we kind of touched on it a little bit, but one thing I think a lot of people don't understand is how difficult it is to write humor. That it's so subjective, and when I can think of several ideas and put it up and write it down, and I'll think it's funny, but I can put it out and it could just completely fall flat. So it is kind of difficult to get something out there that resonates with a lot of people, and think that kind of almost not universally funny, but a majority of the people enjoy it, you know. And I know when I picked my Substack publication, it was a very small niche because I write about being gay, growing up gay in the rural Midwest. Not all my writing is about that, but that's a lot of where my humor comes from. And people might look at that, especially the title of my publication, Brandon Eldridge is so gay. They
By the
might
way, you
think,
need to put a link in there. Don't forget to put a link in.
oh yeah, I don't know how to do that on my phone. Oh, I guess I need to open it on my computer to do that.
Oh no, that's okay. Well, Peter, we'll just keep saying it. Peter Elwich. Peter Elrich. No, why did I
No,
say Peter?
Peter,
I'm thinking
Peter,
about Peter.
Peter.
Oh my God.
It's
See,
it's
my therapist
fine.
told me
It's
I have a terrible attachment to this. Okay, so it's Brandon Elrich is so gay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think I can get to it.
tell me, is we talked about this the last time too, and isn't it fun that we're doing this over again? It's like really nice. It's like a repeat.
Oh yeah. Well, it was kind of a repeat the last time because it kept echoing. But
Yeah. Well, what is we should do a Groundhog Day where we keep doing this show over and over and over again. What do you think?
okay, there we go. I put my link in.
Okay,
Um,
Brandon Ulrich is so gay. Yes, and the
yeah, we should
collective.
just do the same thing every week. Just ask the same questions every week and see if I come up with the same answers. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, Robes put it in. Hey, Robes, if you're there, would you mind
Oh,
putting in
yeah,
a link to the collective? Because Robes is in the collective as well. His stuff is, and in fact, he shows up on the porch a lot. I was just watching you the other night,
yeah.
Robes, where you're on the porch because he
Well, I don't
likes
think
to.
you were watching him.
Well, no, he doesn't. You know what I mean.
Right. Yeah, I
We
know.
heard
I
your
know.
voice. I heard
Yeah, I know.
Julie Elder was there, I believe. Yeah, by the way, Julie, if you're still here, you look amazing in red. You should wear red all the time. Okay, so is there a piece you've written that still makes you cringe? but you love it anyway, so you just leave it.
I mean, all of them make me cringe almost, you know? After I publish them, I look at them and I think, oh, I wish I would have done that. Or, oh, that's not, that's, I shouldn't have said that or said it that way. I could have done that better. I'm kind of a perfectionist, you know? So sometimes I just have to get over that. I just put it out there and be like, all right, whether people like it or not, it's out there. I'm moving on to the next thing.
Well,
But
that's a good way to be. That's a really good way to be. We talked about how, I think all writers go through that, and,
yeah, I think
yeah.
so.
Oh,
Most
thank you,
people at
Robes.
least.
Thank you, Robes. Robes said he's a Coco host. Now, does that mean you're a co-host, or does that mean you're a co-host with Coco?
He's a chocolate toast, maybe?
Oh, that's even better, yeah. Yeah, Robes was on one of my lives. We did a live together, and, I didn't see him on that either, but he was there.
Yeah.
I also did a live with Victor and Peter William Murphy. So, you see, um, this is old stomping ground. Okay, so who do you wish would read your work? Stephen King?
No, he's horror. So
No.
I would want somebody who's in my arena, kind of in my genre, I guess. So like I would want somebody who's like a famous humorist or comedian or something like that. Like I really like Dave Sedaris.
Oh, yeah, you
I think
mentioned him. You should go on the road with him.
I think he's very funny. I love his sarcastic nature. I'm sarcastic sometimes. So I kind of I like his writing, and I don't know if you've ever read Augustus Burroughs.
I have?
I like his books. There was a movie I watched the movie made about one of his books not too long ago, but it was interesting.
Oh, that sounds
But
great. That sounds
yeah,
great.
those
So
are a couple.
you when you were on the porch, were you there with Lisa and Julie? Or, by the way, Julie or Robes, why don't you put a link to your on the porch live that you do? If you wanna just I know Robes was really good at putting in links. Robes, could you put in a link? And while you're at it, Robes, could you put in a link to yourself? I want everybody a little shout out to everybody for coming on a Sunday and supporting us. I really, really appreciate, because we wanted to make sure Brandon got his time in the sun,
Uh,
because he was cheated last week with the echo. And I think I we
uh,
talked about this. You and I talked about this privately, and we said, it was right after the big shooting, the big
yeah,
shooting, and everybody and their brother was on lives talking about it.
yeah.
And we think that maybe that has something to do, because, I know for a fact, when we've been looking at getting video we'll eventually have video. Sazio will have video, but I don't know when, because it's very expensive. And right now the whole platform is
Mm,
free. It's free for a while until we have enough readers and writers. So,
yeah.
but eventually at some point we will have that. And right now we're worried about making sure we have enough servers and cloud space and everything, so we have good response time. But when it's an echo like that, in fact, I even said to my husband, I said, "Is there anything you can do? Could you take that?" And because he used to be a sound engineer, he's also a musician, he's a
Oh,
software engineer. And I said, he has a whole music studio. Well, when you come down for the writer's workshop, you can check out his music studio. And I said, "Is there anything you could do to get rid of the echo? Because I feel bad. Brandon did such a great, and he said, "No, Karen, and he looked at it, he said, "I'm pretty sure it was on the Substack network." Because
yeah.
I didn't have a computer anywhere near me and I had no echo, but you did. So he said, "I really do believe it was something, because they were probably overloaded. They probably had so many videos going out that it was just deteriorating the quality of the sound that was being broadcast." So I'm
Well,
so sorry.
I know that's, I mean, it's not your fault, but like 15 minutes before that, I had just gotten off of live with, Wendy that day, and I didn't have any issues. So it's just the timing, and I don't know. It was just didn't work right, but
Well, we can't blame Mercury, because Mercury is not retrograde right now.
oh,
Um,
well,
so do you want to? I only have one question left, and we have one
mm.
minute, but we can go over unless you need to go. No,
Well, I will
I
be
told
leaving
you I'll stay.
not too long after we get done with this. I'm gonna go meet a friend of mine to watch the Downton Abbey movie.
Oh, that sounds good. Well, I won't keep you
Yeah.
long. How about you tell me? We've covered every single question that we covered last Thursday. So, yay. We've added a bunch of stuff. We had some lovely people visiting. Thank you, everyone who visited us. A lot of really awesome people, and some people I don't know, but I'm so glad to meet you. Who do you want to say? And it can be on the platform, off the platform, a combination. Who is your favorite writer?
Well, I can't just name one,
Okay.
but some of my favorite authors are. I always loved Agatha Christie. I always loved her books, and I admire writers like Dr. Seuss and
Oh, yeah.
Lewis Carroll because they're so creative and funny, and they just make up stuff, and there's a moral lesson behind it, and I think it's great. As far as like writers that I know, I mean, I've already talked about Robin Wilding. I got to meet her in person when we went to our writers retreat a few weeks ago. So that was pretty cool hanging out with her. Um, and well, I mentioned Claire Frankie. I think she's hilarious. I enjoy watching Peter William Murphy's show. If any of you haven't checked that out, that's
Now
a
I'm traumatized,
very
but
funny.
okay. Yes, yes. I'll have to call my therapist for emergency consultation. But yes, those are all very good names. And by the way, Lisa Joy joined us, so I'm really happy to see her. I love the porch. The only problem with that is I get up at 4 a.m. to write, usually about quarter to 4 every day. And so I have to go to bed early, otherwise I don't get any sleep. And if I stay and hang out on the porch, which once I go, I don't wanna leave because it's so relaxing, and she's on the swing, and the country's beautiful, and it's just so relaxing, and they have such lovely conversations.
Oh, I did want to mention Ginger Cook.
Oh, Ginger Cook, yeah.
I I think she is so funny. She's very she just puts it out there. She'll say whatever, you know. And actually, she's doing an article about me, an interview, because she sent me some questions and I answered them, and I think she's going to kind of flip them on their heads. But it's coming out this week. She didn't say what day it was, but it's going to be sometime this week.
Is that
So
on
that should
Substack?
be funny on Substack. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
good. Okay. Well, we've covered all the questions. We've said hello to a lot of people. We've
yeah,
shared some interesting things about, cats typing on keyboards and
yeah.
your cat who has the foot fetish. Is there any other memorable things that you want to say before we end today? Because we're only 2 minutes over.
Uh, well, I don't know. I can't. Um, um,
I'm putting you on
I'm
the
at a
spot.
loss now. What?
I put you on the spot.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, I think I answered a lot of the questions slightly differently than I did
You
last time,
did.
at least.
Yeah.
But
So, yeah,
um,
somebody wants
subscribe
to.
to my publication if you're not already. If you're in here and you're new, I recognize a lot of the names, so you might already be subscribed to me. But if you're not, I would appreciate it because I am a poor, struggling freelance writer, and I
And
could use
your boss is a bot, right? You work for a bot?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I want you to go have a wonderful time with the Downtown Abbey movie and have a wonderful rest of the day. I can't wait to your next cooking video and a little spoiler. Ah, a little bitty spoiler. I think Brandon and I are going to collaborate, and maybe do a hair do it yourself video.
Oh yes,
Won't that
yeah.
be fun? We'll do that. We'll have to do that. Get all we'll have to wear our plastic coveralls, and we'll have to just slather stuff on our heads. So I'm looking
Oh,
forward to that.
I should say at I am a Virgo, which means I may or may not have had a birthday recently or coming up. So
When
I'm not
is
going to
it?
say
You better tell
I'm not
me.
going to no, I'm not going to say when I'll just say that I'm a Virgo.
Oh, I'm mad at you now because I'm a good birthday rememberer.
So anyway, if
Well,
you want to
happy almost birthday, happy late birthday, happy it's coming birthday,
yeah,
happy Virgo
yeah, yeah.
birthday, happy. Oh, maybe it's today because you're going to the movies.
I'm not. Well, not necessarily today. Could be. Maybe not. I don't know.
Okay. All right. You're going to be like that. Okay. Well, have a
Yep,
lovely
I
rest of
am.
the weekend. Thank you to everybody. Thank you, Robes, for doing posting duty. You did an amazing job of posting all the links. And thank you, Lisa Joy, and everyone else who came in. And I appreciate you. And that's it. So
All right.
goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.